Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about Finviz, which is one of the stock screeners. So we're going to take a look at what is Finviz, how much does it cost, how to use the scans in this stock screener. So let's have a walkthrough. So if you look at the homepage of Finviz, we are using a free version, which is if you just go on finviz.com, this is exactly what you're going to see. So I mean, things are pretty laid out pretty well. I mean, right off the bat, you can see in terms of how the markets are doing, right? You can see the Dow, the Nasdaq, the spiders. If you go down, you will see the top gainers, right? Top gainers. So if you're interested in, finding which stocks have moved quite a bit during the day, this is what you can do. Just click on top gainers, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of stocks in here. Now, if you take a look at in this kind of layout, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can see what the market cap is, the price earnings, and so on. But if you're just purely trading based on charts, and if you don't want to see all this fun stuff, what you can do is you can just click on charts, right? You click on charts and click on candles, and you will see everything on here, right? Everything which is the top gainers. I mean, this Mogu has been up 97% for the day, all the way till you see next 7 pages. There's a whole bunch, right? So I mean, that's an easy way to take a look at which is stocks which is really moving quite a bit. And depending on your strategy, whether you want to go long or go short, this is one way to just take a look at. I mean, if the stock has a top gainers, then of course there's quite a bit of volume in it, right? You want to see volume. So we're going to talk about scans in a bit, but this is an easy way to do it. If you want to take a look at, what are the top losers, stocks which have completely been destroyed today. So something like BOIFC got destroyed, right? It's down 30%, and so on. Going back to the homepage, if you want to take a look at, hey, if you're the kind of trader who likes to buy new highs, right? I mean, if there's a new high, then generally there's strength in the name. So we can do the same thing. Click on charts. You can see all these charts which have hit new highs for today, right? So we talked about top gainers, new highs. The other thing really cool thing on here is unusual volume, right? Generally, there's an unusual volume, means there's a lot of interest in the stock versus any other day, right? So for example, the average volume for this CRBS stock is maybe about 130,000 shares. But today, it would have done, if you just click on the name itself, right? Today, it has done about 95 million. Right, so relative volume is how much volume it has done versus the average volume. So it has done about 700 times more. I mean, that's tremendous amount of volume being done in this stock, right? So I mean, those are really 3 cool scans that you can use right off the bat, which is on Finviz free, right? Top gainers, new highs, unusual volume. Now, if you want to take a look at, hey, what if you want to scan for, say, any kind of chart patterns. So they have really cool stuff on here as well, where you can scan for trend line support, right? So if you do trend line support, you can take a look at, which kind of stock is actually have trend line support. So for example, in ESTH, it has a trend line support over here, SVBI, trend line support over here, right? So you see what you're seeing on here, right? So you see the trend line support. Different kind of things that you can also take a look at is in terms of triangle ascending, right, which is a pretty good one. I mean, if you have stock which is, triangle ascending really is happening is you're having a stock which is making higher high, higher lows, right? Generally, that's really the intention, right? Okay, so we take a look at some of the free stuff on here. What I really like to do is, if you're looking to trade, say, penny stocks, right? If you're looking to trade penny stocks, and if you want to do a quick scan to see, hey, and if you are, depending on what bias trader you are, whether you're a long bias or short bias trader, one really cool scan on here is, of course, you can do top gainers, right? So you see right off the bat, you see all these stocks popping up big time. You hit candles, you hit charts. Now you see all these charts on here. Now, if you walk into the filters, now if you are a long bias trader, so you want to see stocks which is, if you talk about long bias, so let's say, a couple of scenarios that can play out. Let's say scenario 1 is you have a stock which is gone up, comes down, and goes back up, right? This is one kind of strategy you can use to find, if you're a long bias trader, find long entries. The other one could be, right off the bat, the stock actually gets sold off, makes a lower high, and makes a higher low, and then actually trends back up. So that's third chart pattern. Then you can, the second chart pattern you can look at. The third chart pattern that you can try to look forward to is in terms of, let's say a stock went up and then it has a massive pull in, and then it forms a lower high, and then it goes up again, right? So these three are really the key patterns that I usually try to trade on a regular basis. Now, of course, these are all long bias stocks, right? Long bias patterns. So I mean, what I really want to do is take a look at, hey, you know what, on a technical basis, I definitely want to see stock which is up for the day, right? So right away, if you take a look at, if you didn't do this, you have a lot of stocks like ANVS, CRVS, and so on. These are actually down for the day, right? I definitely don't want to buy stocks which is down for the day. I want to buy stocks which is up for the day. Hence, I can use this pattern or probably this pattern to trade, right? So you're going to narrow down in terms of which patterns you want to take a look at. So if you want to be long bias, which is stocks which has been up for the day, then this is a really cool one. You do change from open up. Right now you have a list of okay, so if you take a look at, you know what, right now there is 7,500 stocks. You cannot have eyes to look at 7,500 stocks. You go on top gainers, now you have only 149 stocks, right? And now we go to change from open up, now you're down to 144 stocks. Now, of course, if you have a stock which has been up for the day, you also want to take a final look at, hey, you know what, does that stock actually have some kind of volume? Right, these are penny stocks. I mean, $5, $10 stocks. So I mean, the more volume means there's more liquidity in it. So you can do current volume over 1 million, right? So you can see, you know what, stocks which have done really well. The other one that I really like to do is in terms of relative volume, right? So you want to see compared to the previous average volume, how much volume has this stock really done today, right? So higher the better, right? So if you do our R-vol over 5, now you are short down to 12 stocks. Now, you know what, you can easily go and manage to take a look at 12 stocks, right? Compared to if you had to go and scan for 7,000 stocks, that's just not possible for you. Okay, so that's a free screener that you can use. The other one that you can also take a look at is in terms of futures, right? So if you want to take a look at, hey, you know what, how are the futures doing? Then you can see the Dow Jones, S&P, the Nasdaq, the Russell, and so on. How are these guys doing? They do have features of cryptos, right? So if you want to trade Bitcoins, Ethereums, and so on, they have the live charts on here. You can do hourly, 5-minute. I think you need to have, they do show you some 5-minute charts on here as well, right? So this is the free stuff that you can really use in Finviz. So even if you do not have an elite version, then this is something that you can use. Now, for me, I personally use the elite version. The reason being is if you are using the regular one, this one has a delay of about 15 minutes to 20 minutes, right? I mean, if you are trading stocks every day, you don't have that much time. You don't have 20. You don't want to take a look at stock which broke out 20 minutes ago, right? You want to see stock which is breaking out right now or possibly going to break out. So I use elite version, right? So elite version on here, if you take a look at the pricing on here, it costs you about 24 bucks a month, right? 25 bucks a month. Really cool layout on here. I'll just log in on here and show you how I personally use it, right? So now I'm logged into the elite version, right? So elite version has some really cool features right now. I mean, you can go and do pre-market scans, right? Pre-market starts at 8 o'clock, and now it has even have aftermarket, right? So if you want to go and take a look at, hey, you know what? Once again, what kind of stocks I want to trade. If you want to trade stocks which have a lot of momentum, so go to top gainers. And as I mentioned, you want to do over 1 million, R-vol over 5 or over 3, whatever is your preference is. And really cool feature on here is if you go on charts, you click on candle, right? Now if you click on 5 minutes, now hey, voila, here's where the magic is, right? Here is where all the magic happens. Now remember what I talked to you about in terms of different chart patterns, like the scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, and so on. Now if I have Finviz Elite, if I did not have Finviz Elite, then I mean I cannot really see all of this stuff, right? I can probably just see the daily chart, and I'll have to go type it in and find out, hey, you know what, how is this stock actually doing for the day? Having Finviz Elite, I do not have to do it. I can just click on 5-minute charts, and I can take a quick view in terms of are these the recognizable patterns that I can trade, whether it's scenario 1, scenario 3, right? So for example, if you talk about scenario 1 where stock goes up, retraces and goes up, right? So I mean, this is really the perfect one you see on here. It goes up, pulls back, goes up, right? Same thing if you want to find one more. HEPA goes up, pulls back, goes up. You want to look at VSLR, goes up, pulls back, goes up, right? So I mean, these are 5-minute charts, which if you have the elite version, is actually right on there. You don't really have to go and type it on each individual name and see, hey, you know what, which stock is actually setting up the patterns. So I mean, if you take a look at these charts, let's say I do technical change from open up, there's no way for me to go and tell how these chart patterns are forming, right? If my criteria is to look at these chart patterns, then hey, you know what, really simple way is you go and get an elite version and do 5 minutes, and then you can see these intraday patterns. If you're a longer time trader, then you can easily do 15 minutes if you want, right? So once again, same chart patterns you're looking at is up, move up, pull back, move up, pull back, move up, right? So very easy to go and find out in terms of different chart patterns if you have the Finviz Elite. The other thing that I really like about this one is you can go and save your screeners as well, right? So if you have go and create a particular screener, so let's say I've mentioned you do a top gainers, R vol over 5, current volume over say 1 million, you do technical, change from open is up, right? You can go and save your screener as well. So you can save screen and then you can do all the fun stuff. Now what if you want to go and find just stocks, you know what, which is purely have really high volume, high relative volume, doing over 1 million shares. So I mean, if you are long and short trader, so I mean, once again, you can really do the same stuff all over again. Two criteria that I really like to see is high relative volume, which is more volume done versus other days, and done at least 1 million of volume. So once again, you do the 5-minute screener, and then you can quickly go through and see, hey, you know what, which ones actually are setting up, which ones are not. I mean, we talked about the 3 kind of scenarios that I really like to trade. There's other scenarios that you can trade as well in terms of being bearish, right? So there's different bearish chart patterns that you can go and take a look at. For example, if you look at something, say ANVS, you have a stock when move down, move back up, double top, and then straight down from $9 to $7 or so on. So this is a really cool feature I like about Finviz. So once again, in terms of the Finviz Elite version, it's a really cool feature that they have in there. You can save the screeners quickly if you want to say, hey, you know what, I would like to take a look at Mogu. What kind of news is there? I mean, you don't really see much news on there, and this one is from StockTwist. They have pulled all this information from here in terms of what a chatter is on the particular name. And if you are a news trader, I mean, they even have information for news. If you want to be like, hey, you know what are the stocks which have some major news? So something like NVAX, it has some great news. Walmart had really great news today. So this shows you know what, which are the, if you're a news trader, then this shows you which stocks are moving based on news. If you are, let's say, you know what, if you're looking at earnings, let's say it's earnings season, if you want to go and find out, hey, you know what, which stocks have earnings? So once again, you can do generally in the morning when I come in and take a look at, you know what, tomorrow before market open, or if it's today, then today before market open, which stocks had earnings. So PUEYX had earnings before market open, and you can see, you know, this stock is actually getting crushed today. So I mean, there's different criteria you can set. You can even customize it to see which ones you would like to see in the last 5 days, 1 week, so on and so on. Yeah, so I mean, this is really a really cool feature for Finviz Elite, a really cool stock screener that I would highly recommend. If any more questions, let me know. And if you guys do like the video, do like and subscribe. I'm going to make more videos for you talking about trading.